It's your cue, Eric.
Hi, and welcome to NEL5R. This is our fourth in a hopefully long-running series of video review games from our Discord league. This is our first doubleheader. We're going in hard. We got Ray here with us,
Yo.
and Derek again,
Hello.
and then me and Lewis.
Hi, my name is Luis, but it's okay.
I'm racist. Moving on. Let's just start the game.
All right, so here we are at the start. Boom. Let's click play and see how we get everything decided.
We're doing the Phoenix Scorpion matchup again because our Phoenix and Scorpion players are extremely active in this league and no one else is. So yeah, it's really gay. And right off the start here, we should pause this because he just put Along the River of Gold under a stronghold, right?
I did. That's right. I use Along the River of Gold basically because of something that you told me like 3 months ago, which was it's either that or Rally, right? And Along the River of Gold can do things more than once, and Rally can't. And that's pretty much my logic here.
So you don't care about like the tempo from somebody not being able to scout your Rally and hitting it under your box? Because it can turn into like a full-on time walk under the box.
Yeah, it could, but sometimes it doesn't matter at all. So,
because that's very true. 3 months ago, everybody was on Earth under your stronghold, but now that there's a relevant Earth province to play on your row,
right,
you kind of have to stick your water one under your box.
Yeah, and I'm using Upholding Authority there.
Right. Well, it's something to think about.
I think there's some amount of value in one having a sort of a gotcha, which granted, surprise value is in my opinion low value, but there's still value in it.
Everybody scouts nowadays, but
yeah. And everybody sort of expects the Rally under the stronghold. Like it's less of a gotcha when almost everybody's doing it.
It's also
it has become so ubiquitous.
Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dragon hits it and they're like, all right, dude, I'm gonna do Dragon
but
stuff now.
Last thing to think about before we move on, you can have added utility when you run Rally against aggressive decks like Unicorn and Lion, where you can actually put it on your row and really get somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially with them rising in the meta lately.
Something to think about.
Moving past provinces, Ray, what are you looking for here? Are you looking for anything specific in your Dynasty mulligan, or do you
He's looking for that
start? Yeah, this seems like actually the god start.
Yeah, this was a pretty perfect start, and it's gonna turn out pretty well for me. But like, usually I'm just looking for something I can scout with, which is like going to be Ethereal Dreamer or Naive Student. And, something
things with 2 glory in this matchup are not super fun to pay money for.
Yeah.
Suki's at least got some element of cuteness, being able to...
Well, I mean, she can honor herself.
Yeah. Alright. So let's play this.
So you're going to buy both of these?
Yeah.
Man, the double keeper start, that's just a dream for almost anybody.
Right, and then I look at this and I'm like, Clarity is great, Against the Waves is great, I got punches for the initiates, so like this is all good.
I mean, it's a dream if your water attack doesn't get stuffed.
Of course.
Yeah.
If it does, you're a little in trouble.
I mean, I'd say you're mildly in trouble, but just getting keepers rolling is still...
you still get to throw them away at the end of the turn.
Yeah, there's a lot of value just having them exist. It just means your water rings are now even more immensely threatening than they already are as Phoenix.
I've watched a little bit of this game. Last night in bed, I was just kind of like scoping it out. And Ian plays Miyako on 2. And it's weird for me in multiple things. Because if I'm going to play Miyako, I'm going to play it with more than 2. And I really don't want to play it if I can... just play a 1-drop courtier and pass, especially against Phoenix.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that thing gets clouded, and the cloud never comes off of it.
Right. I mean, as Scorpion, it's pretty hard to get rid of a cloud anyway, unless you draw one of your 2 Lekos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because...
Or you desperately want
Ian's
to
not running Dragon Splash.
Oh, he's not?
I think I know what he's cooked up here. But
calling in favors... on Cloud9 never feels good,
so before anything, just a quick question. The exact wording of Miyako, is that at any point in time if he plays a conflict character?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be during a conflict or during a certain phase.
In that case,
Which is
keep
why
going.
the draw phase snap
is
cloud
good.
was correct. Yeah.
Yep. Just wanted
Him
to
being
make sure.
being first player. That's something we should really talk about. I've seen a lot of people, especially in the league, I've played against multiple people already, who don't have all of the action windows turned on in Jikoku, and you need to go
Yeah.
turn those on in your settings.
It's very important. You got to remember your draw phase actions.
If
It's
you,
almost weird that they're not enabled by default.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so you are swinging hard into this.
Well, I know I need to get water, or it's going to be like a problem right away.
Mhm.
And it's going to trigger Tsuki's ability, and I'm going to be able to like keep her unbowed in a number of ways if she doesn't get assassinated.
Oof. So swinging directly into upholding. We'll see how this plays out, but
I mean, this is actually might be the best case scenario for Ray, because when you hit upholding, there's a chance that he just like won't block and will just let it break.
yeah. Also important to note that there's not a double hit here. There isn't like an extremely high value hit off of upholding at the current moment.
I mean, there isn't against the waves.
Yeah, there's a good hit, but it's not like he's getting like a 2-for-1 here, and hitting a spell versus Kunisawa is still important, but it's not, you know.
Putting
It's
your
not the end
Phoenix
of the world.
opponent on 5 against the waves instead of 6 is nice.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah, but
this
it's
is
nice
not
that I have
the end of the world at all.
No.
I would say this is one of the better times to hit it. Although,
Oh yeah, that's great.
Is your list 1 or 2x censure?
2.
Okay, so losing the 1 censure isn't even the most brutal thing either.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he doesn't block.
Yep. Yeah, I figured that was gonna happen.
I wouldn't have
Right.
blocked.
This is
either.
just
I
sort
would
of
ju-
a
I'm
fact
just-
of life.
I would just suck it up and take this.
I do still like the clarity there, just because it forces his hand there. You know, if he
Yeah.
doesn't assassinate it, you're gonna get recurred value off of it.
I don't really get it, honestly. You're still breaking.
Oh yeah, well, you can just
You don't know.
stronghold clarity, right?
And then why are we fanning Ray?
To get Path of Man for extra fates.
Sure. Okay.
Because he just played Assassinate, so I know he can't do another. And even if he dishonors him, it's 0 glory. So
Right.
it felt like a pretty low risk move to get 2 fate.
Is it correct to spend an extra conflict card for 2 money in the matchup?
I think it is.
Is that just always correct?
Scorpion's economy is so good. I'm like really greedy for fate. Maybe it's not
Sure.
the best, but
You're way down on cards. That's all.
Yeah.
I am.
So you're down on cards, but if he immediately one bids you next, which I don't think he's gonna, but you know, just before we get there, if he threatens a 1 bid, I mean, he's not getting full Kodo value, which again
Sure,
is City the
yeah.
Open Hand. But
Or he has to do it in Dynasty phase.
yeah, keeping fate parity is nice. But moving on from that, like having these keepers, I'm gonna make the assumption that these are gonna be pretty important role players, like over the course of the next turn.
yeah.
Well, he did take the punch.
Yeah, which is smart, and that might also just indicate that he doesn't mind you losing the honor when you bonsai, and 2, he doesn't want you to get the cycling. He may not have tricks to deal with you pumping more than once.
I mean, I feel like that the fact that it replaces itself is really the most important thing, especially because we're so low on cards now.
Yeah, no, I do agree. It's just there's multiple elements to consider.
Miyako, being able to trigger Miyako would have been so good this turn too. To fate phase,
Yeah,
dishonor one of the monks or make him discard another card.
And then Ian's going to face plant straight into Shameful Display here, which is just fortunate for me.
oh man,
Everything's coming up. Chickens.
yep.
Pretty much.
Salas Sanders would be so proud, Ray. Yeah, so this is I wouldn't say about as painful as it could have been for Ian here, but it's pretty tough. Getting initiates rolling turn 1, lost a province, didn't get the highest impact hit off it, and then face planting into Shameful versus a
I mean,
keeper initiate. Just painful.
As a Scorpion player, it's fine to lose turn 1,
Yeah,
and it's fine to like scout important things. And like this matchup is still skewed in your favor.
so he really.
But I'm
wants to
definitely
start
not
the hand
feeling
pressure
great.
here.
Yeah.
He tosses a fan on Miyako just to get the win on the conflict, which I more than welcome. I mean, it's just he spent a card to get us to discard another card, right? It's not really the worst thing in the world.
His
Losing
card gets
Bonsai.
replaced.
Yeah,
Playing-
yeah, his does, I guess. That's fair.
Playing Fantana and Scorpion still, you know, makes
Just
me throw up in my mouth a little bit.
Allowing
but, like,
your opponent's attachment hate to be live. I mean,
well, I
in
mean,
all fairness,
Ian plays a different Scorpion than I do, and he actually breaks provinces. So
yeah, he plays it about as well as he could, which is it's interesting to see a Scorpion break a province for the first time in months. Hey, now you face planting the shameful.
Yeah, and then I just go straight to his shameful.
Excellent.
I don't remember if he had any played a conflict character here or not.
hitting the Hurricane
Although-
Punch and the Bonsai out of your hand, it's real
Yeah.
sad.
The-
Either one of those breaks for free.
Oh yeah,
Oh, and of course the Magistrate. Why not? I was gonna say
Y'all-
hitting the
y'all are
shameful here
ahead
might
of me.
not be the worst thing, but it became the worst thing.
You guys are a couple seconds ahead of me.
I'm not sure why. It's your screen share.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm watching the stream and not the screen.
Yeah, you are definitely really dumb.
Wow.
so like I'm not really worried about this though, because like I just basically sent this keeper in to flip the province anyway.
Mhm.
I didn't expect him to really do anything here.
And now he has 0 money.
Yeah, which is, oof.
It's just
Like,
an awful place to be.
you're 4 money up. His 1 bid isn't that threatening right now. Like,
Right.
it's
I mean,
So
you
now
have
that-
to 5
that path
again.
man feels pretty good.
yeah, like
You
he's
have
gonna
to 5
5
again as a Scorpion. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying his 1 bid is not even like in the cards. It's not like it's not.
If you
feasible.
really hard, like super hard win turn 1, you can go 5 into a 1 right away. But like if
Yeah,
you go
Kratos
even or
there.
lose turn 1, you really have to keep drawing cards.
Hit up the old Gallon of Tampico. You already know.
I think it was a little bit unfortunate that you hit the shameful and then he had the magistrate because he lost the favor there and it keeps your censure turned off.
Yeah.
It's a small
That's what-
thing, but
Basically have a 2-card hand now,
But-
which is pretty stinky. But
You then flop Palace on Shameful, so we take those.
Right.
As the kids
Yeah.
say. Like against the deck. Well, I guess Ian breaks, so it's not like he's playing Dishonor Scorpion. He's everything he
it's
wants to be.
still
Scorpion.
hard to break a 5 shameful
No, yeah,
against Phoenix.
I totally agree.
Average glory is 7.
At least.
See, it's hard for me to tell what Ian is going to do as well because he spends a lot more money in your average dynasty phase
Yeah,
than
it's
I
a
do as
very
well.
different play style. Like even
Yeah.
here, it's like 2 more buys than I'm used to seeing Scorpion make.
Ray plays this naive student and basically says like you can pass if you want,
Mhm.
and he chooses not to like take that risk. But I guess it's not too big of a risk because you know Ray's gonna buy something again.
And the thing is, Ray buys something here.
But you don't
and
really
he's,
have to.
He's currently up 7 fate on Ian.
Sure, like you could just pass. If
I
you
like
passed,
Prodigy with 3 here.
it has to be more than 2.
Oh,
It's
okay.
two.
It'd be that way sometimes.
Playing something that costs like
Nice.
three or more with 2 or less fate against Scorpion is, in my opinion, one of the few ways you can let them back into a game.
Yeah, you've got no censure active. He could just void and fate worse than death you, and then you
Yeah.
actually like, you seriously contemplate suicide at that point. And I wouldn't really hold it against you.
Because now that they don't play meditations anymore, you know that 3 is always going to be safe. Because there are those off chances where you like hit meditations and then get fate worse than death and then get voided and die.
That's-
Like, that can't happen anymore.
That's just
It used to
painful.
happen.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it used to happen.
it used to be that way. Life was real wild back in the West.
He doesn't know what to do. Attacking with Cunning Magistrate, not feel good. This is a
I-
card that's good at defending.
I feel like here you just let him have this upholding authority. He's got a beefy hand, and you can hit the targets that are really going to hurt your prodigy there.
Yeah,
You just hit
and
a
that's
Fate
pretty
Worse
much
than
what I
death,
do.
and then it's just like, go
Do you
fuck
let him
yourself.
take your display, or do you play the display?
I don't remember.
No, I'm like,
Oh,
Oh,
here
just,
I
yeah,
think
in theory.
I would probably try it.
I think-
He's got a courtier out for the forged.
Yeah.
sure, I guess. If you don't play it, he's gonna take it, right?
Yep, so you do
You-
go
you
for it.
try.
And we'll see. Yep, he forged Edicts.
And then he
That's-
forged. It's like, well, we
That's
got to burn
whatever.
through these.
Yep.
Whatever, yeah.
And then I see his incredible hand.
That is pretty good.
Plays, he somehow fits a Kami Unleashed and katanas and ornate fans in his deck. And I
So-
just don't know how.
Let's look at this, and before we know what the decision is, I mean, there's an obvious value choice, but is there anything else you consider here? I feel there is, but I'm curious of both your, or all of your opinions.
Looking back,
I know what I'm thinking.
I think Cunning Magistrate would have been fine to go with.
There are
Um,
multiple things that are fine, but I think there's one that's the best.
I believe I end up pulling the 2 for shames out.
Yeah. I do think that value is just so incredible. And four shame
For
isn't
shame.
just like hitting, you know, if you hit 2 katanas, I wouldn't be that worried, but hitting 2 four shames is pretty huge.
For shame is a lot more alive against Phoenix than some others too.
Yeah.
Um,
Your glory, like, you'd never want to dishonor, so it just says bow a guy.
yeah,
Give-
that's what I mean.
Given the fact that Ray is ahead in this game already, I snap take for shame.
Yeah.
It's one of the best defensive options in the game, and being able to strip 2 of them puts us even farther ahead.
Worth noting that in Ian's hand, the one thing we see that outright causes any sort of dishonor besides the four shame is court games. So something to
Yeah,
take
but we
note
have
of.
our own court games.
Yeah, like four shame is absolutely the hit here, but it's just always something to keep note of as Phoenix versus Scorpion. How can they dishonor you at a whim? And if the answer
Yeah,
is
it's
they
sure
can't, then
nice
you're
to
looking
see.
good.
Yeah, and there's no way of the
No way
Scorpion
of, yeah.
here. And there's also no Assassinate too, so I know I'm sort of safe there for now anyway.
Yep. You're honestly sitting pretty after this break. Things are not coming up Ian right now.
No.
I don't think it's that brutal, but the Phoenix player's ahead.
You're really racking the old noggin there, dude. Bit of mental jumping jacks there.
Just
Well,
staring at that cunning magistrate.
Yeah,
I
pretty
feel
much.
you.
Dude, Cunning Magistrate was a 1-of for so long, and going to 2 was
It's like your
so...
whole life changed.
Yeah. Like, it's so brutal.
It is very good. Playing Scorpion even casually just makes me wish every deck had 10 incredible conflict characters.
Like, there were some matchups where you were interacting with this dishonor mechanic and your opponent's deck just didn't care. Like, Crab, 80% of their guys, you can dishonor them and it doesn't matter. But, like, when you wave the Scorpion, their Kasada, and they're like, okay, I don't care, and then you play a Cunning Magistrate, suddenly, like, all of these cards are live in every matchup, you know?
Yeah. So, quick pause. Speaking of the devil earlier, we spoke some horrendous things into existence.
I don't know.
We didn't process that we're talking about Ian here, and that's not a dig at him. Ian has a playstyle that I've not seen replicated by other Scorpions, and he does make it work very well. But
How you
Ray
can manage
swings into
to fit this
meditations
into his
here.
line. How you manage to fit this into your lineup, I don't know.
Yeah, and there's a world in which this meditations blows the entire game up, but with Ian's hand, it's not that world currently. So
Like, this means you're either not, because we know he has a Earth and 2 Voids, so this means you're not playing Rally to the Cause under your box, or you're not playing Secret Cache, which is out of the question. So, like, Pilgrimage is under his box, or Secret Cache is under his box. Both sound horrible.
I could see
Pretty sure
pilgrimage
it's
under
pilgrimage.
box.
Right. That's,
I'm not
I know
saying
that's
it's
what he
good.
does. He does it a lot. But, like, I hate it.
I will say this in his I won't say I'll defend this, but in his to his credit, he generally doesn't have to worry about that because he really does play very
For sure.
well.
But if you don't have to worry about what's under your box, you're denying yourself a fate.
Of course. Yeah, I agree. So the decision to go pull water here, is that just to make sure Ningyo is live and to try to threaten a break? Or, like, how do you feel?
Waves.
Yeah, it's for Prodigy of the Waves to unbow. It's going to force, he's going to have to defend with his unbowed dude, or sorry, his guy with no fate, or that's going to be an issue. And I know I've got Ningyo, and I really want to break something.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, full disclosure here. I kind of spaced, and I was like, well, he's got another conflict, but yeah, no, I'm stupid. Let's go. Let's move on past that. I was like, yeah, he could just claim water in his next one. I was like, no, like, that doesn't do anything. So I'm
Like,
just
as soon
dumb.
as he blocks here with multiple guys, though, I feel like this says I don't have a fate worse than death.
I mean, we
already
saw
know
his
his
hand.
hand.
Oh,
Yeah, we saw his hand.
It's good
My
that he
bad.
said that to repeat it, though.
Yeah.
Yep, getting the Prodigy not dishonored is quite
Yeah, that's
nice thing.
huge. Otherwise,
So you
it's just a
actually get to
1-1
contribute to another
unbows.
conflict. Yeah.
Yeah.
Removing this token before you play the court games is a good play, though.
By the way, I think this was an incredibly ballsy move on Ian's part to block with his two guys who had fate and leave the one without fate at home.
It's very true, but I mean, that guy's only contributing one skill, so I guess it's kind of like win this
Sure.
conflict and you get to go again, or lose and your turn over anyway.
Yeah. Good old against the waves. Old reliable.
Yeah, hitting basically your only target in the whole matchup. Besides your own guys, obviously.
And you're going
Right.
to be able to do it again next turn. Oh, everything is coming up Ray.
You can do it again next conflict. But I guess you need
It's true. Cuden is still online.
Yeah. You could straighten his social looseness for him. Like,
Do you...
well, okay, I'm gonna pause this here. I'm wondering, and I mean this in no dickish way. I'm
No,
wondering
that's
the
what we
choice
call a
between the
misplay.
student. Okay, I just wanted to double check there.
Yeah, no, that was just a legit misplay. I should have put it on the keeper.
Yeah.
Why does it matter?
It's all good because the naive student goes to 0 from 2. The keeper goes
Yeah,
to
I
0
lost
from
2.
1. He ends up
Oh,
losing.
yeah.
Yep. Not a huge deal. I just wanted to be like, let's see if there's anything else at play here, which I
Yeah,
didn't
no,
think
it's
there-
worth pointing out. That was just me making a bad move.
It's all good. It happens. You should see Eric.
I was just going to say, is there a chance that we flashback clarity here?
Oh man.
Yeah. Seems good.
You
So this
got
way
the
I can
juice.
defend on the next conflict. Still hit him.
Have you thought about the fact that this probably just means he'll pass his conflict, where you could have done the clarity in his conflict and then probably like bait him to attack and then clarity then?
Yeah.
Because now, at the end of this, if your guy's still standing, he's probably just not going to attack, right?
I'm
This
also
is
fine.
Ian. I mean, we can't think of probability with him. He's a wild
Sure.
motherfucker. This guy is untamed and free.
Yeah. It's always hard for me to get into his mindset.
No, that's what I mean. Like, it's you guys are such polar opposite players that like it's very hard to really cross-examine.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, for me, if I'm playing Scorpion and I'm this far behind in this matchup, I pull the ripcord a long time ago and go full turtle mode, and I haven't attacked ever. And yeah,
I mean, I think
but-
the right move is not to attack, but the question is like, how spicy is Ian feeling? I mean, we've seen his hand. I'd be lying if I said I remember.
There's
the
also,
exact
like-
moves in it, but
the huge fact that we drew 10 cards and didn't hit a fate worse than death against our opponent who doesn't have the favor. So like
yeah,
this game would have been a lot different
yep.
if different cards were drawn.
But you know
But he
what
also
they say?
just
Welcome to card
face
games.
first. Yeah, he also
Yeah.
just again face first smashed into upholding authority, which again the difference between me and Ian is I wouldn't have attacked them.
Yeah. Well, that's because you just don't attack. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're the king of just actually not attacking at all ever.
Well, it's just like this game favors being defensive, unfortunately. So nobody's disagreeing with me.
No.
Yeah, you're definitely right. That's why, for sure.
So there we see Ian's splash is Phoenix, right? I don't think he's played a.
We saw it in his hand.
Yeah.
We saw his hand.
Well, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I totally
This-
didn't talk about it though. That's for sure.
This is just wild to me.
And then he plays this Kami on defense
Okay, so
with a Fate.
it bees this way.
He knows you have a Ningo in your hand too.
At this point, you
So
should
we're-
just assume every time there's a water conflict that Phoenix has 5 Ningos in hand.
We're paying 3 money for 1 force on defense. When we
And
know
not
he has a
getting
2
your
force pump.
free range choice of ring next turn that it's in
Right.
play because he's not first player.
Well, and probably not getting it honestly because Ray's gonna attack Void.
Yeah, of course. I hope.
Well, I was gonna
Hey,
say
my
you can
man.
just void. You just void the Kami, but Ian's actually going
you
to
could
attack
void
again. This is
Miyako.
insane. Only Ian is attacking.
Bang into
again right
meditations too.
Yeah,
Only
Boy,
Ian. would make
everything
this
is
attack.
coming up, Ray, dude.
yeah. No, it's
beautiful.
a good pickup for me.
Another use of court games. Like this is
As Ian, you know, he gets to untap his Prodigy of the Waves as soon as this is over, right? Why are we attacking?
it's strange because this is something that like I would not expect Ian to miss because Ian's a very analytical player. I mean, this is a guy who plays actively around Fallen in battle. Like
Clearly, he's like playing his only out is being aggressive here,
right.
but like this attack, you come into the attack loop,
Yeah, and you don't have tricks.
and he immediately just gets to stand his guy back up. He's a 5/5 now and smash another province.
You also know that like that Ray has seen your hand, so you know you can't even bluff a trick here.
Right.
I actually think that's probably the most important part. Is we know like the entire hand, so there's no way that we're gonna misplay because we're playing around something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the only misplays are just like straight up
Yes.
not doing the right thing.
Did he
Yeah.
just want? Well, did he just want to deny the void
He
ring?
wanted to
and
deny the void
accidentally
ring,
hit
sure.
Meditations?
Right.
My question
is
is
what
why
happened,
not
but,
just
like-
swing in with Miyako to Shameful? Like she's already
That's-
dishonored.
Sure. I just wouldn't attack.
Yeah, no, of course, but I mean denying the void ring
Interacting-
is fair.
Interacting with these provinces is just like it's just a losing play.
Get that chunky 2 honor loss. On the old Hawk Tattoo top deck. I'm sure we could spend another hour talking about that, but we won't.
You
Oh look at
I
him!
don't
He
think anybody
rubs
else
it.
wants
Oh, I
to.
love it. He knows,
I was
baby.
pretty happy to see that.
Pull in the
Good.
old cunning magistrate. Hope you didn't want to have fun this game, Ian. Marauding Oni. All right. I think I need a
Yeah,
cigarette.
he's been on this marauding Oni play for a bit, and again,
You
Ian
like
likes
it
to
for
break
Kodo
provinces.
as well. Like it's just
Yeah,
another
it-
method to get under them.
It's more honor losses. It's a big military body, which Scorpion doesn't have. But like, man, it is not a courtier. Let me tell you how much it is not a courtier.
Okay, so coming into this turn with 8 Fate, and
Am I?
Hmm?
I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent about Scorpion. We're supposed to be talking about Phoenix stuff.
yeah. So I was gonna say
Stupid
to
plans are so
Ray,
boring. I hate it.
My assumption is you run Tadaka. I mean, if you don't,
I do.
I'd like to have a talk with you. Okay.
Yeah, no, obviously.
I
played
figure you
Yeah.
did. And are you running
I run-
2 or
I
3
run two.
Azunami?
2 Azunami.
All right. And how do you feel about her versus Kaide? Are you also running Kaide, or are you running her over Kaide?
I'm not running her over Kaide, and I constantly switch those slots back and forth, and almost never play either of them.
Yeah,
That's-
sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because like in a vacuum, both of them seem decent enough, and then you play with them and you realize like you really just need Tadaka and to go crush people.
Yeah, they're too expensive for what they give you. So I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes they're good. So like, but it's
Azunami
very
in this
rare.
matchup in particular can be such a liability. She gets hit by way of, and you just spend 8 money and you just want to kill yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, you're not a card for this matchup, so I'm just going to ignore you.
Yep.
I feel like those spots are better spent as a power to drop in your faction because you have a lot of good ones.
Speaking of, are you running Uona at all?
In this deck, yes, I am. I just don't see her in this game.
Yeah.
Should
I love that
be in
card.
every deck now.
Well, yeah, I assume she is, but I mean, you know, it's always good.
I'm
to
slamming
verify.
Prodigy with a bunch of Fate and passing again.
Are you gonna?
Right.
Actually, yeah, you know, Ian's gonna buy like 15 things right now. You know.
He's gonna buy both of the guys on his provinces.
Yeah, this is just the play style he goes for. I almost feel like he fates up the marauding on
He
him.
does. He does
I mean, he
exactly
does.
the opposite of what I would. He does the opposite of what I do every turn, so I know 100%.
Mm-hmm. You start to have like an aneurysm thinking about it, but he still wins games like it's.
Yeah, my nose is bleeding.
Once again, for the record, none of this is shit talk. Like they have such polar opposite play styles. It's kind of incredible, and really interesting to see like the juxtaposition of how they play.
Ray again going for 2 Fate on his guys. He fated
Yeah, you're crazy, Ray. You're playing with fire.
and played both his guys. It's uncanny.
That also locks you into. Well, I feel it locks you into the Void Ring because he's got the Kami Unleashed in hand, unless you were to Hawk Tattoo it in. But
We should
Because
talk
if you-
about
So I do.
we should
Here's the
talk about
thing.
here.
I do end up hawk tattooing that Kami into this attack that I'm about to do,
Mhm.
forgetting that he has favorable grounds.
Right.
yeah, that's. You hate to see.
Can we
this kind of
talk
thing
about the
happen.
bid?
Yeah, I was like, this is going to be brilliant, and then it wasn't.
Let's talk about the bid. This is gonna be
You
brilliant.
bid wrong, right?
I mean, I did right, but in the wrong circumstance. Let's say that.
How so? Like,
Well, 'cause
how
if
are
he
we
didn't
viewing
have
this from both
favorable ground,
perspectives?
it
The
would be
bid, I
great.
mean.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he said you bid wrong, and I'm not entirely sure I agree.
I need cards, and I know that if I drop 3 honor, I'm still not. It's very unlikely I'm going to die this turn.
I think it's very easy to see he's either going to 5 or 1, and your 1 bid is the correct play in both of those.
I just consciously decided that if I
Uh.
lose 3 fate here, that's fine for the cards. Or if
3
I lose
honor?
3 honor here, yeah.
The only way you really lose this game right now is accidentally getting dishonored.
Sure.
Yeah, but I mean, if the only way
I
he
have
really
t-
loses is accidentally getting dishonored, and he's accepting losing 3, like he's not going to be accidentally dishonored because he understands the risk he's taking.
Right.
You got to give him a little more credit than that, I think.
I'm not.
I've got
giving him
2
credit.
characters, right? Like,
I'm giving.
only one of them has no fate, and it's honored. So it's like I'm not going to lose a bunch of dishonor on characters. What's he going to do? Like, swing air ring on me, and then what?
We also know Ian's hand. Like, it's very important to keep that in mind, and especially on Jigoku, you know his hand like almost front to back right now. He has 1 new card.
Okay.
So yeah, I feel like it's a calculated risk, and it was a good one.
No, like I'm
Right.
just saying he has 1
I
new
just don't
card,
think
even if
you're
that
in a
card
spot-
is quadruple way of the Scorpion. Like, it doesn't matter. That
I
card
just
could
don't
be
think
Mark
you're
of
in a
Shame
spot
for
where you
0
need to
fate.
take risks.
That's a fair point. But fuck you. I'm just kidding. I love you.
Well, I end up winning this game, so it's fine.
See,
Okay. Why? What? Ray.
we got
Well,
some
we're
wires,
getting there.
dude.
We're getting there.
That's not how that works.
I still don't disagree with the bid for the record, but we can talk more about that at the end.
The only honor that matters is the one that kills you.
Absolutely. Although we know Ian does some wild shit, dude. He could contingency plan you out of nowhere. You don't fucking know.
He
Ian
does,
is a
but I know it's
he's
not
a
like
son of a
floating
gun, dude.
Yeah, he's not like floating a bunch of backhanded compliments or something. Like,
I've killed people from 8. Like anything under 8.
Okay,
Or
you've
is
killed
alive to
somebody
dying.
from 8 that like fed you the game though.
Yeah, part of feeding me the game was bidding incorrectly that turn.
If he had bid
All you have to
5,
do
I
is
would
match
say
my-
yes.
4's close enough. He went to 5.
but 4 is not 5.
Okay. While this is going on, before we get deep into a conflict, what possible cards in 2 cards can Ian draw that cause Ray to lose this game this
It
time?
doesn't have to be only cards in his hand. He has 5 guys on the board.
No, I'm
One of
saying
them
he's
lets you
got
fire a ring twice.
He's got 5 guys on board, and he's got 2 cards that are
You
new.
can clear the status token. 1 dishonor effect takes one of these out of the game because you can favorable ground your magistrate in to deny both attacks.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a Kami for double air ring. 2 unopposed and a double air ring puts you to 1. You're not going to win the game this turn. You're not getting 2 breaks.
There's a world.
Yeah, it's real.
Ray's
and the
hand is
only way
actually
you
real as
lose.
fuck.
Then the only way you lose is bidding too high.
Right. I just
That's my point.
we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I still firmly disagree, but we'll talk about it.
That's fine.
We'll see how it goes.
Fucking Ray said, I know the end of this movie.
Yeah, but knowing the end of the movie is like justifying your play on one game.
I think it was I still think it was justified at the time. I don't see how he dishonors
Absolutely.
me to death.
I get it, and you're allowed to think that. I just disagree.
Yeah. I think we could probably math it out, and there could be an objective chance in which he can't lose.
And it's not to say that he's going to lose this turn, but there's a real chance he gets to like 3 or lower this
next
turn.
Right?
And then loses next
Yeah, he
turn.
loses next turn. There's a chance. I mean, like, even just like double cloud here. Yeah.
How many times have you played this matchup and just all of a sudden lost? Like you feel fine, and then all of a sudden you're dead. That's usually how it happens.
never
It's
happened to
never
me.
all of a sudden.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe
No,
I'm
I
just
mean-
totally wrong.
I play crabs, so there's kind of a different dynamic there. It's very much like a long grind in that matchup. You
I also
could
think
be
it's wrong to preemptively play your court games.
because of the illusionist on board.
No, the illusionist is clouded, but just because we should be using our court games as counters for his court games.
So look at this exchange.
Him for cheating that is just utterly insane. But
I feel like the censure there is insane too. And I'm again, like, this isn't just to pick
Oh, I didn't
apart
even see
everything.
that.
It's just examining. So like him forge edicting at court games is possibly the most madman thing I've ever seen playing this game, which is incredible because I've seen some crazy shit. Like I've seen Ian contingency plan a 0. I mean, it's the fucking Wild West. And then the censure there. Are you so knowing his hand, which again we do. We know everything. We know cards except for 2. We know cards except for 1 because the Forge Edict is new.
Yeah.
So my assumption is that you're just not afraid of Fate Worse than Death here, which
2
I
force
guess is-
brings you
yeah,
to breaking.
there's no reason to be actually.
Yeah, he's not
There isn't a world in which he gets it unless you open his stronghold up.
Right, exactly.
And even then, it's a 1 card chance out of 23 left.
You would have to go Earth next attack, and you'd have to have Pilgrimage under Stronghold, which he does.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's like massing at Twilight.
Come on,
We'd
dude.
have to have a whole episode just about that.
No, we
This would
wouldn't
go
be able
from
to
a-
have another episode because Eric would
This would-
fucking die on the spot. Like
Go
he
from a
wouldn't
double header to a
exist
triple header.
anymore. It's like a
If you were
fucking
attacking
Hydra,
massing
dude.
at
Shit
Twilight-
just keeps coming up. Like
If Ray was attacking massing at Twilight right now, he'd have a 24 support.
hell yeah, Ray.
That's why nobody runs massing at Twilight.
That's the fucking
little-
dream, dude.
Little trivia for you.
Here we go. We're about to see the spicy play.
Right, here
Look
comes
at
the
Ray.
spicy
Ray
play
thinks
that-
he's so slick. Right
I think I'm so fucking smart at this point.
This
And it
would be
Does not
huge.
pay off.
dude, but
It would be huge if he didn't have it.
he locks into the like galaxy brain play right now. He's like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm gonna deny him this extra ring activation. Like, it would actually be huge.
It'd
And
be
then,
huge
like,
'cause it
at
would be
some
a
point in
void.
time, your cursor is gonna scroll up to here, and you're gonna like just circle above the favorable. Just like you
What
did
about
when you
the
drew that
second
hawk
void?
tattoo, you're gonna do that to the favorable. I'm calling it now. As soon as you notice it. I feel like fucking Joseph Joestar right now, dude. I can see the future. So let's watch. Oh man, you must have felt so good about yourself with that hawk tattoo too. I fucking love you.
Ian's like seems like he's really thinking about it.
Yeah. This is a thing Ian likes to do as well. When he doesn't have any outs, he likes to pretend he does.
But he does have an out. I'm not even sure if he just doesn't notice his own favorable at
He
this
does
point.
have an out, but I mean, like... Wait.
Oh, he did not favorable
Oh,
it
yeah,
out.
yeah. He favorables it in to get the proc. Yeah. Which is weird. Was he afraid of the second Hawk tattoo? Because he could have just sent it home.
Yeah, I guess that's the super conservative play.
I mean,
it's-
why not wait? It makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
Well, he
no,
likes
it
to
does.
break, and it's still one extra force. Like, he also has the
It's not
Goblin
an extra
Sneak.
force if you sack it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And it lets him save the favorable ground in case he needs it for something else, I guess.
The only
I
thing
think
is
it makes
that
sense to wait.
denies you someone
I don't-
to player the attack.
Dude,
with.
I don't know what he needs that favorable ground for right now. He's attacking!
Well, he has to sack the secret comic if he wants to use it.
Yeah, but does he want to use it when he's on box versus 2 honored
No.
Prodigy of the Waves?
No,
I mean,
he doesn't.
He might, but
This Marauding Oni has to be defending. I don't understand. But
maybe
I
he
don't
just
know.
doesn't
I don't know,
have
man.
options. No, he might just have 0 options and need to attempt something.
I mean, we know his hand. He's on 0. We could probably just let this through and swing back, right?
And the thing too is
I mean, I would definitely defend with a keeper just to trigger my shameful. But yeah.
can't be dishonored, so you can't target the Marauding
you
Oni.
can't,
Oh really?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't trigger it
You
against
can't
Oni.
even target
I
him.
don't. I honestly don't even know what that card does.
Yeah,
Besides,
he
it
just can't
loses-
be honored
it
or
loses
dishonored.
honor.
Like, you don't interact with his glory. Or I guess you could probably you saw Morisado him, but he doesn't do anything ever.
All I know is that you lose an honor when he attacks.
So
or
he really
defense.
wanted that Seeker Kami, and okay, I'm gonna pause here and go into one of my little mantras. So don't look at the timer that was left, but
Yeah, I just saw the time.
what can happen here, and I say this a lot, and this is subjective, this part, but you should generally try to play and not expect your opponent or rely on your opponent making mistakes. But where that goes out the window for me personally, and my philosophy on it is, if you genuinely do not have an out at all, and there's no way you win based on how you analyze the board, you can sometimes try to force your opponent to misplay. If
Yeah,
your
sure, the
only option,
attack.
yeah, if your only option is for your opponent to play wrong, otherwise you lose, then you have to give them the most opportunities to play wrong.
Right.
And this could be
attack
what
here
Ian is
gives
doing.
Ray a chance to misplay.
Exactly. Like, the misplay here would be defending with possibly even 1 Prodigy of the Waves, because that's more force than the Oni is contributing. So
He's
it's
just
just something
gonna-
to keep in mind.
Oh yeah, he untapped.
Yeah, like, it's basically this game is pretty clearly winding down to be over, but you have to take the opportunity, if you have no other options, to attempt to make your opponent misplay, because if they do, sometimes you stay in the game for an extra turn, and that's very important.
And giving me options to screw up my play is a great strategy, because I will take those opportunities to make the poor play.
Yep, like, again, you know, if it comes down to you not having options except for your opponent to fuck up, then hey, you gotta Hail Mary it sometimes.
Ray, how does it feel that you said that and Luis said, "Yep"?
I didn't mean it like on Ray specifically.
I'm glad that he's agreeing with me. That's fine.
It's pretty brutal.
That's what a good co-host does. Backs you up.
Yeah, I'm backing him up.
We-
That's my boy.
yeah, We saw me dishonor a naive student instead of a keeper before.
I felt kind of bad because I caught it instantly, and I didn't want you to think I was trying to be a dick.
No,
I was just
no,
like,
not at
okay,
all.
let's look at this. Let's examine. Oh, and you supernatural storm just to tell him to go fuck himself. I like that. All right. So that's that game. That was
Yeah.
I would call it close to a landslide. I would probably call it a landslide, and that's not to take anything away from Ian, but that game did not go in his favor in very many situations at all.
It's a
No, a
landslide
lot of
in
the
a matchup.
RNG was good.
In a matchup that he on a previous episode called 80-20 matchup in his favor.
I still believe that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's still the 20% of the time that you lose. It just is what it is. Welcome to card games.
I'm much more forgiving to the Phoenix player than he is, but I don't know.
I don't know,
Maybe I'm
man.
just
You didn't
less
sound too
hyperbolic.
forgiving.
I said it was like 65-35.
I know,
Maybe
just give me
70-30.
shit. I think it's I would lean to 75-25, but it's tough.
They're all
I mean, it's such a small difference. It's still very Scorpion favored is the important thing to mention.
For sure. And one fate worse than death at multiple turns in that game changes the
Yeah.
whole game. Because
I mean, even away the Scorpion here and there is a welcome change.
Ray is investing the bare minimum into his guys, and honestly, just like begging to get blown out, and isn't. So,
Well, in the first case, I would say yes. Although in the second case, I won't say it was right or wrong, but I will say that the second case, 2 Fate Prodigy of the Waves, like, it wasn't the worst thing in the world knowing that Ian had exactly 2 chances out of 25 to hit a Fate Worse Than Death.
no, I totally agree. Just
yeah.
If he does, the game is totally.
Oh, for sure. But, yeah, no, I mean, nothing else jumped out besides the stuff that we spoke about as obvious.
Again,
like, the naive student.
His one bid I just don't think is correct over just drawing 6 cards that turn.
Yeah, so
Well,
let's
and
run
most
back
of
to that.
Well, most of that turn he didn't have the fate worse than death, so it wasn't.
Well, that's a whole nother
Yeah,
story.
that as well. That's one of the things that I kind of, and again, like, I don't mean this to disparage Ian. I kind of forget that he sometimes doesn't have the fate to represent that threat because I'm so used to every Scorpion player in the known galaxy being able to do that. Like, I've just never faced a Scorpion who didn't have the fate for Fate Worse Than Death. So it's such a rare thing for me to experience that I kind of just space out to even check his fate. I just assume he has it.
I mean, he wants to play the guys off his provinces to get stats on the board because he's actually trying to break provinces. But I understand where he's coming from. Our guys just have such low stats.
You got really good cards in your hand, though. You could just not have your dudes and use your cards instead.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the game rewards you for not breaking provinces, so to chase after the inferior win condition is just that much.
I think at this point, a lot of Scorpions' win conditions are becoming inferior. That's a hot take. So we'll keep that for another time. Maybe the podcast. Wink, wink.
I mean, I haven't won a conquest game in months.
Yeah, no.
But you also haven't tried to.
I mean, yeah, I haven't tried
not
to
true.
honor
I
out
tried
as Lion,
once.
but I could, like, in theory.
I tried one time, but my opponent scooped before I could actually win on conquest,
There you go.
so it doesn't count.
I mean, it's one thing I bring up when we talk about Scorpion Conquest. It's not like it's completely out of the question, but, you know, a good example from recent times is...
Does it
I
even
forget
count
the
if
guy's
it was...
name.
I was going to say, does it even count if it was the alternate role tournament?
No, it was. I'm talking about Gen Con, in which one of the Scorpion players in their write-up, I believe he made top 16, but not top 8. Maybe incorrect. He said he broke a single stronghold the entire tournament, and it was versus Anil in the Swiss. And it was because if you've seen how Anil plays that matchup, it's fucking out of this world. It's like Futurama shit. Like, it's weird. He's so keen on not being dishonored at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, in every other world, that's the only way you lose, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Well, and then he lost in Conquest, so I mean, it is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
But that was my point, is that Conquest wins are exceedingly rare for Scorpion, it seems, nowadays. Yeah. People kind of wisened up to not allow Scorpion that leeway.
Once people start, like what I was talking about here, you know, if Ray reads the one bid and bids one with him, you know, once people start to learn how that works and they start reading Scorpion's one bid, it becomes a lot harder to actually dishonor somebody. And
No, I agree.
sometimes you actually do have to break provinces. So, like, once the community catches up with that, things might have to change for a Scorpion player again, but the whole game's going to be different in October anyway.
I actually think some amount of Scorpion success, although this is not nearly as much as I would say for Crab, but some percentage of Scorpion success and a larger percentage, but not massive percentage, of Crab success with Dishonor is almost purely due to people just fucking tanking their honor. Like, even good players will just walk face first into, like, a 2 honor give up, and it's like, you just lost the game 2 turns from now because of that. Like, you just don't have to do that sometimes.
You're talking about 2 honor, and most of the time it's 4.
Yeah, but like even if you bid 3 and I bid 1 and you don't plan for that 2 honor very specifically, and even if you do, like, you probably just lose 2 turns down the line if I'm trying to dishonor you. And it took people a long time to catch up to that, like a long time to realize, like, I have to read the 1 bid, and sometimes you have to scout. Like, it may not always be the same for the Scorpion matchup, but in the Crab matchup, for example, sometimes you want to casually bid 4 to make sure they're not tanking.
You're specifically talking about scouting bid, not scouting profits.
Yes, scouting bid. Like, it's not always the wrong move to bid 4, even if you think they might bid 5, because if they bid 2 or 1 and they just tank their bid and steal your honor, like, there's worlds in which their hand can sustain that 1 bid and then you lose because you tanked your honor. I've done it as Crab. I've gone 5 and then 1 as Crab in 1 games, and I've done the same as Scorpion. It's much more rare in Scorpion, but
4 is definitely my least favorite bid. I think it's 5, 3, 2, or 1, but that's just a weird thing.
kind of like how Kirby has feet. It's just weird.
Yeah.
So, going back to that bid, I'm far too lazy to find it, but I'll do it.
I mean, yeah, we don't have to, but
Well, you go from how much on? You go from 8 to 5.
yeah.
So it's a bid of 4 to 1. So let's we could take a couple minutes to just pick this apart. Not even like just to analyze, not even.
So I thought a little bit more about it, and especially since he spent so much money in the dynasty phase that he's not representing a fate worse than death. I feel like you have to know a 1 bid is coming, but I understand what you're saying, in that you are confident you're not going to get dishonored. But I don't know.
But it's both that I'm confident I'm not going to get dishonored, and I really think I need the cards.
Well, you did end up using 2 or 1 of the 3 that you drew.
Yeah, I mean, I ended the game with 1 card in my hand.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Although, to be fair, you didn't
need
need Supernatural Storm.
Right, so I would have ended the game with 2 cards in my hand.
Yep.
Totally.
I think, again, another thing, and this is just me being myself and being fucking weird, but it just boils down to numbers as well. Like, knowing his hand, and especially once we see the Forge Edict, which that was we could do a whole episode on that Forge Edict. But knowing the cards in his hand, knowing he has a storehouse, and even if you know he's going to bid 1 or you strongly feel he's going to, then we know he has 2 new cards or will have 2 new cards.
I mean, honestly, I'm shocked he didn't bid 5. So, like, the whole thing we're talking about is moot anyway.
Right. But like, what 2 cards does he have that set you up to lose over the course of the next 2 turns before you could try to restabilize, even if you got blown out this round, which isn't possible.
It has to be like he has 1 form of dishonor in hand already.
Like, those 2 cards would have to be precisely Way of the Scorpion and Fate Worse Than Death, and you would have to not have the favor.
No. Yeah, well, he wouldn't have that. He doesn't have enough money.
Well, he could claim Earth if you don't deny the Earth Ring.
Sure.
I was
just going to say, it has to be... he has to have 1 dishonor in hand, plus Away the Scorpion, plus his 3rd for shame.
Right. And what I'm saying
how he
is
makes it through this turn.
He's only got 2 new cards. He didn't have dishonor in hand.
He has 1 court game.
He has a court games, which I don't believe he had played at that point.
So he has to rip off the top 2 dishonor effects.
Right. And it's
doable. He played 12.
It's doable. He's got 3 Way of the Scorpions. He's got 1 for shame. That's it right now, right?
More court games.
More court games, yeah.
I counted a Fate Worse Than Death as dishonor.
Yeah, no, same. And that's also assuming Ray doesn't swing Earth, which, I mean, wouldn't be... Like, I wouldn't have swung Earth here either.
Right, he has to get water first.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like... I understand the world in which you lose more, like... Or the world in which you can really throw the game away. I'm using the term lightly, but I think getting dishonored. But I think that world is such a Christmas Land fantasy that if he rips the heart of the cards, 2 cards he needs off the top, I just fucking extend my hand and say, hey, that's card games. Like,
I think the only way Ian makes it through this turn anyway is only playing Court Novice and passing and bidding 5 anyway. So like,
no, I
you
agree.
didn't do any of that, so it doesn't matter anyway. But
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I just wanted to be clear. Like, I get where you're coming from, and I don't entirely disagree with you, but I do think Ray definitely made the right choice. I think he could have bid 5 here, but it would have been way more sketchy. But I think 4 was the correct. 3 or 4 was
Yeah, I
correct.
think that the safe play probably would have been to do 3.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah,
I'm a
no,
little
I
greedy.
definitely... and I think you're in a position in which, strangely enough, even though you're already winning, like, you have the leeway to be greedy. Because, again, there's... And again, there is the world where he gets those cards and he wins, but that world is such an infinitesimally small chance that if that happens, you know, it's card games. It just happens sometimes. Like the entire first 2 turns of his were card games against him, you know.
Yeah.
let's go to another game.
Yeah. Yeah, he's fucking bleeding from his ears, dude. You have to watch somebody try to break stuff with Scorpion.
I mean, he got one.
Sure did.
Sure did.
Oni's very menacing. He almost got 2.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, what are we moving on to? I've got.
Some form of lion game. There's lion crane and lion unicorn.
We've got Lion Crane. I think we should run the Lion Crane one and then get Lauren on for the uni game.
Sure. Oh, I'm finally getting the unicorn one just now.
I'm gonna stop and restart the stream so I could easily separate the VODs for uploading.